All right, here we want to take a look at finding the max and mins and intervals of increase, decrease on a function where we're not given the graph, but we actually have to use our calculator to get it. Save a little time, I've gone ahead and I've put my function in my calculator already. One thing to remember, this little minus sign in front, remember you got to use the one at the bottom here, not your operation symbol on the right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit graph, and there's my nice graph. Now the one on screen here is a little bit nicer. It's a closer up version. This one's sufficient. You don't feel like you have to narrow it down. I just did because it looked better and it was easier to write on for the notes. Right, so if I'm going to use my calculator, what am I going to do? Well, I've got my steps listed right here. I don't want to use just the trace button because that never gets me exactly. I mean, how do I really know I'm going to be at the high or the low spot? So what I want to use instead is right above there the calculate menu. So second and then trace, and then what we're looking for, let's do the minimum first since that's the first one that we'll see. And it asks me for the left side. Now simply all that means is something to the left of whatever it is I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for, this dip. So I'm going to mark that, hit enter. Now it says, well, what's the right side? Well, that means I want to go to the right of this dip. So I'm going to use my little arrows until I get past it on the right side and hit enter. And it says, okay, what's your guess of where you think that minimum is? About there. And I hit enter. Right? And now I've sketched this out on my paper, and I'm going to round off my answers here and note it down on my paper. So the minimum is going to be the y value. It occurs at the x value, minimum 0.995. All right, let's do the same thing for maximum, only this time we choose number 4. Okay? And so we go to the left, right there. So this is my high spot, and I'm to the left of it here. And I hit enter. And then I'm going to go past it. It wants to know, well, where's the right side of it? So make sure I'm past it, hit enter on the right side. And then I'm going to go back and say, okay, that's my guess. I think it's about there. And it tells me the x and the y. Again, I'll jot them down on my paper so I've got a reference point. But the maximum is going to be the y value here of 2.92. Right, now the reason I wanted to sketch it out on paper is because remember, if I'm going to have to do increase and decrease intervals, I want to draw up on that graph, section off where it's got a low or a high spot using some vertical lines, and then say, okay, this is the decreasing, the middle section it's increasing, the right hand side is decreasing, and then I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I read from left to right, so from way back here, negative infinity, until we get right here, which was that 0.103 number, that's going to be decreasing. Union, because there's more, from this point here, what was that? That was the 3.6 number to positive infinity. So remember, it's the x values for increase, decrease. And then the last one is going to be increasing in the middle section here from 0.103 to the 3.6.